Hello friends, and welcome to another video from my series Quick Thoughts On, in which I always talk about different stories from the rich Star Trek universe. Last week a brand new Star Trek show started. It is called Star Trek Picard. New episodes air on Thursday on CBS All Access in the USA and on Friday on Amazon Prime Video for us Europeans, which means that I will be watching every new episode during the weekend and make a quick thoughts on mini review every Monday. Yeah, I know it's too late, but it's the Thursday, I can do it. Anyway, the first episode was called Remembrance, and these are my honest opinions about it. First of all, I have to be honest about my opinions about the J.J. Abrams, Alex Kurtzman era of Star Trek, which started back in 2009. I hated the 2009 movie. I ironically liked the movie Star Trek Into Darkness, meaning I like it in the same sense as when I say that I like The Room or Birdemic. But I seriously enjoyed Star Trek Beyond. I thought that was a decent Star Trek flick. On the so-called small screen, the first thing we got was Star Trek Discovery, and I tried to like it. I really tried to like the show, and I did like a few episodes, really few episodes. And even though I like some of the episodes, I still think that the show sucks as a Star Trek show. I like it as a generic space opera which has nothing to do with Star Trek. The next thing was Star Trek Short Treks, which now has 2 seasons. The first season had 4 short stories. 2 of them were kind of good. The second season had 6 episodes, and I can kind of like 3 of them. Again, just like Discovery, meaning that I can like them for what they are, if I ignore the fact that they are supposed to be Star Trek stories. So now we got Picard, and the same team which brought us Discovery and Short Treks is behind this show too. So I naturally expected the pilot episode to suck, and you know what? Does it suck? No. Is it a masterpiece? No. Is it entertaining? Yes. Is it a good Star Trek story? Of course not. We will never ever get Star Trek again. I'm starting to slowly accept it. Under this regime, we will never ever get a show with a positive outlook for the future. Gene Roddenberry's utopia is dead, and they don't think it's a bad thing. They actually behave like they're proud that they murdered Star Trek and gave us generic space fantasy. So no, I can't even call it science fiction, it's just space fantasy. The second thing is that I have not read 99% of the articles about the show, and I did not read the prequel comic book. A series has to stand on its own feet. So maybe I will not understand something which was explained in the comic, just a little warning. So where does the show start? On the probably ugliest looking Enterprise D ever seen on screen. I don't know if it's supposed to be 25% different from the real Enterprise D, or if they are just incompetent, but the D is a beautiful ship. This one is just ugly, just like the version of the NCC 1701 Enterprise which we have seen on Discovery. We then see inside a card game between an extremely old-looking Jean-Luc Picard and an extremely old-looking Data. And although I will get a lot of hate for this, I know because I got a lot of hate when I wrote it on a forum this weekend, I don't like Patrick Stewart's performance. I don't know if he's ill or if he's just too old for this role, but he delivers all of his lines with the same monotone voice, something like I do right now, and he has basically the same facial expressions during the whole episode. I have seen reviews which praised his performance. I thought that he was the worst thing in this episode. And you have no clue how hard it is for me to write something like this about one of my childhood heroes. But Data doesn't look good either. First of all, his wig is totally wrong. They didn't even try to make him look at least slightly similar to Brent Spiner's real hair from the 90s or even from Nemesis. His face looks absolutely unnatural too. They started to de-age him using makeup, but it didn't work, so they used some digital de-aging techniques on top of the de-aging makeup. So the result is something pretty weird looking. Anyway, Picard looks out of the window and sees Mars under attack, after which he wakes up at his Chateau Picard, his vineyard. We cut to Boston, where we meet the best character of this episode, a young girl named Dash, and her weird lizard-looking boyfriend. They are making out when suddenly some man in black beam in, murder the boyfriend, and then something really stupid happens. They start to beat her, put some fancy Google glasses on her, and ask her if she got activated. She doesn't know what the hell they're talking about, so Man in Black 1 says to Man in Black 2 that he should knock her out. So he puts a bag on her head? Huh? I don't really get what's going on, but the bag on her head suddenly activates her, and she turns into a giant killing machine, killing everybody. Then she starts to behave normally, well, relatively normally. She starts to touch the body of her boyfriend, leaving her fingerprints all over his corpse. Then she starts to have visions of Picard, so she rushes out to find him. Because yes, let your apartment filled with corpses. That won't be weird to absolutely anybody. What about talking to police, sweetie? Back at Chateau Picard, Jean-Luc and his dog, named Number 1, return home, and we suddenly see that he has 2 elven slaves. 1 male elf and 1 female elf. Why does he have them? I don't know. And we get some very badly handled exposition scene. He's giving an interview and we got tons of informations thrown at us. Oh yes, by the way, B4, who looked like he's going to be the next Data, and in the canon comic book countdown he was even the captain of the Enterprise E. You remember that guy? His transformation into Data never worked, so they dismantled him. Oh, by the way, they created a bunch of synthetics. No, not androids, not robots, synthetics. Why are they called synthetics? Oh, look over there! A squirrel. Oh, by the way, the synthetics had an uprising. Why? Oh, look over there! And oh, by the way, the synths have murdered tons of people on Mars. Why? Oh, look! Are the effects in the scene not amazing? Why wouldn't we see this plot? This could be an amazing pilot movie, if you would do it properly. But we are also told that Picard, what he has done during the years in which we haven't seen him. When Romulus got destroyed, he wanted to rescue the few millions of Romulans who still survived. The Federation has originally agreed, but then they stopped. Because Kurtzman needs to murder the Federation. As I said many times before, these are shows named Star Trek, which are created by people who hate Star Trek for people who hate Star Trek. But Admiral Picard got angry and left Starfleet, and because this woman asked him about this, he again gets angry and again leaves, this time the interview. But of course Dash sees this interview and suddenly knows where and how to find him. Picard has a drink with his dog when suddenly Dash appears at his chateau. She claims that she knows him and asks him if he knows her. Picard is confused, so she tells him more. She tells him that her apartment in Boston is filled with corpses of men who she murdered. So what does Picard do? Well, he lets her in and offers her tea, of course. What else would you do with a girl who appears at your home claiming that she has just killed a bunch of guys? Makes perfect sense to me. They try to have a moment together. She goes to sleep because of course he takes her home after she told him that she's a mass killer. He has a dream/nightmare with Data painting a woman. When he wakes up, he looks at the painting and surprise, surprise, on the picture, which was painted 30 years ago by Data, is Dash. And the real Dash is gone. She contacts her mom, telling her that somebody was trying to kill her. When she tells her that she should go back to Picard, that she will be safe with him, but there's a little twist. Dash never told her mother that she was with Picard. Her mother kind of glitches out a bit and tells her to close her eyes and concentrate. When she does that, she knows where Picard is. So I think it's absolutely clear at this point that she's a synthetic and created from data, but the episode will still think that it's a kind of a mystery. Jean-Luc travels to San Francisco, to the Starfleet Museum to check his personal collection, and we see tons of fan service, including the Captain Picard Daybender, which somehow survived the explosion of the Enterprise D. And I suppose I should be happy. Sorry, I don't care about fan service. He checks the second copy of the painting for some reason, and what a surprise, Dash is also on the second painting. What else did he expect? I don't get it. When he walks out of the building, he's grabbed by Dash, who found him using her mysterious powers, and of course they are immediately chased by Men in Black. And we get a, well, very, very good action scene. Dash kills them all, but one of them is dying, so he spits at her. And his fluids are for some reason explosive or something, because Dash suddenly starts to melt and the gun starts to overload and we see her explode. Well, rest in peace, best character ever created by Kurtzman era Trek. Picard wakes up with his elven slaves, and we are given another exposition dump. The cameras didn't capture her, only Picard and the explosion, and he says that she must have some personal shield. Sorry, what? Does that exist? Is that common knowledge? And that would be a cool scene to see instead of being told. And that's, by the way, a huge problem with this episode. And another shock, the elves are supposed to be Romulans? Oh boy, here we come. The shitty redesigns again. Really, why do you redesign stuff? And especially when you make it look a million times worse than it looked before. They don't look anything close to Romulans. They look like they should be helping Frodo Baggins and not Admiral Picard. Anyway, Picard travels to Japan to the Daystrom Institute, where we get another exposition dump. He meets up with a blonde scientist lady, who apparently is trans according to the leaks. I don't know if it's true, and honestly I don't care. She works with Bruce Maddox from the episode The Measure of Man, who was apparently creating a new synthetics who have a human flesh, so yes, he created the Cylons. What's with Kurtzman's team constantly stealing ideas from much better sci-fi shows? So Dash is Data's daughter because she was created from one cell of his brain or something. Something what is in my opinion really stupid, and they come in pairs, which means Dash has a twin sister. And in the last scene we see this twin sister. Some weird guy with bad teeth and funky eyes flies to the Borg sphere, where he meets the second Dash, and the episode ends. So, does it suck? No. Is it perfect? No. Will I be watching this show even after I had no plans to watch it originally? Absolutely yes. Is it good Star Trek? Absolutely not. Is it a good generic sci-fi drama? It's good, but not great. On my overall scale from 0 to 10, where 0 is a complete garbage, 5 is just average, and 10 is a masterpiece, I would give the first episode 7 out of 10. Thank you very much for watching, and see you very soon, probably tomorrow. Bye.